Martin's visiting Worthing Library to search through the local records.
Hi, Jane.
Hello, Martin.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Welcome
Nice to see
Worthing
you.
Library.
Thank you very much.
Librarian Jane Dorr has directed him to the local newspaper, the Worthing Gazette.
Oh, look at that. It's right where I stopped. R.W. Freeman is desirous of obtaining a connection as a pianoforte tuner. Is thoroughly experienced. He's prepared to supply pianofortes, American organs, harmoniums, etc. for cash. Blimey. It says organist of West Tarring Church. So he was already the organist of the church. So he's well established now. Now, I've been curious as to what brought Richard to Worthing from London. Why come here as a piano tuner?
Worthing was quite a prosperous, growing town at that period. Economically, it was growing. Wealthy people were coming in. There was a lot of building.
Right.
A lot of concert halls being
Really,
built,
yeah.
Private schools being built. A lot of work for a piano tuner.
He was also dealing in
He
keyboards
was also
as well.
dealing in them, yes,
Right.
selling them. Yeah.
So here, West Tarring.
It's a little village on the outskirts of Worthing, but with quite an important church, very old
So a very
church.
established church.
Absolutely, yes.
Not that you would advertise in the paper, but you know, I don't know if he was living with anyone here. I don't know if he was, you know, married or engaged or whatever. You know, if he was just being a bachelor here. I am still, you know, I keep banging on about that side of his life just because I think that's the most important part of anyone's life. You know, is who you're sharing it with.
When Richard Freeman lived in West Tarring in the late 19th century, St Andrew's Church was home to a large and prosperous congregation. Martin's come to meet parish historian Chris Green.
Thanks for
I'd
seeing
like
me.
to welcome you to St Andrew's West Tarring.
Thank you very much. Do you have any references or information about my great-grandfather you could show me?
Yes, we are very fortunate in this church to have the parish magazine going back to 1893.
Right.
And we have a reference in this magazine as to what items he could play other than
really?
pure choral music.
Right. Thanks. An organ recital of sacred music from the works of the great composers was given by Mr. R.W. Freeman on the afternoon of the 5th of February. The weather, unfortunately, proved to be exceedingly wet and stormy, so that many were prevented from attending. Mr. Freeman played a selection of organ music from the compositions of Mendelssohn, Haydn, Bach, Hess, Handel. Is that Gounod? Gounod. I'm such a Philistine. Rossini, Hopkins and others. The way in which our organist played the difficult compositions of Bach and Hess showed with what a wonderful musical memory he has been endowed. Right, okay. So we know he was a very good player then.
Quite outstanding.
Yeah.
To play all those great composers, or
Yes.
the works of great composers.
Yes. By memory.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Richard had my grandfather, Leonard, in about 1909, when he was in his mid-50s. Now, I've been curious all along as to whether he'd been married before that, whether he'd had children before that. Is there anything you can enlighten me on?
Yes, if we go back to the 1881 census.
Right. Right. At 29, he was married to Fanny Freeman. They had a daughter, Elizabeth, and a son, Richard.
That's right.
Right. Elizabeth was 5 and Richard was 3. Right. Well, that's a question answered for me.